Come on, sister. Hey everyone, Dan and Leslie back for another Disney dining review.
All right, so we are headed to Coronado Springs this evening, over to Maya Grill. We have not ever eaten at Maya Grill, and I have to say their menu actually looks kind of intriguing to me.
It does look pretty good. So before we get started, elephant in the room, I sliced the tip of my finger off cutting onions for chili yesterday, and I finished up my sleeve, so I've got lotion on my arm. I'm trying to hold this because
literally part of his pinky is gone.
Just a little chunk. But we went for a run earlier and that caused it to start bleeding again, so now I'm holding it above my heart to hopefully slow that down a little bit. But
it's gonna be a really awkward dining review.
It is what it is. I don't know. So anyway, margaritas, let's talk about those.
All right, so first off, these drinks look fantastic. I think I have my eye on a certain one, but there's multiple that I think I would be very happy with. So first, just getting the old fashioned out of the way. It's a, Bactons old fashioned. It's $22. It's a fiery cocktail delight made with iron smoke bourbon, Lapsang Souchong smoked black tea, spicy agave syrup, Aztec chocolate, and orange bitters. It says this drink is not for the faint, but for the long count.
Interesting. So I guess I gotta get that, but the margaritas actually sound really good.
Oh my gosh, they have so many yummy looking margaritas. They do have a flight where you can get the prickly pear, the spicy strawberry basil, and then the just the Dragon's top shelf. Dragones. But I've got my eye on that spicy strawberry basil, and then they also have a coconut margarita.
I know. Originally I was thinking, let's just get the flight, we can kind of share, but then I saw the old fashioned, I'm like, well, but this is Maya Grill is at Coronado Springs Resort, so it's not in a park. And this is like a convention resort. And honestly, the dining here in the tower is fantastic, but outside the tower has kind of been hit or miss. Twin Bridges is pretty good, but Rick's wasn't all that great. So
yeah, Rick's was kind of like if you're staying there type thing. So I'm curious to see if Maya's going to be one of those places that's like, oh my goodness, I've got to go back.
Yeah.
Or you can't miss it. Kind of like if somebody's staying at Coronado, I'm like, you've got to go to Three Bridges, right? Or go up to Dahlia Lounge, or possibly I would go out of my way to go to Toledo at the top of the tower. So
which we have before. I've actually wanted to go to this for quite some time, but it's never busy. So this has been kind of like the filler, and now we're getting closer to the end of the table service restaurants, and now, it's time.
Well, let's talk food a little bit too. So, it is just like kind of a traditional Mexican fare. They've got, they do have a couple of interesting looking things with like some osobuco. There is a plant-based chili relleno, which sounds intriguing. And then there's a birria lamb enchiladas.
Interesting.
Some quesadillas, some fajitas.
There's three family-style dishes that you can get in addition to the single-order a la carte dishes. All that to say, I forgot to say, so the new addition here, it's hard to see.
So we've got
Ursula.
We've got Ursula.
And then just a bunch of backgrounds, like colors and swirls and decorations to fill in all of that.
So basically it's his entire arm that got butchered.
Yeah. So all the way from back up in here, down, I filled in between Hades and Dr. Facilier and up around. So yeah, the whole arm, really. Anyway.
And then he chopped his finger off, so.
Then I chopped my finger off. All that to say, let's go get some Mexican. I'm excited about this. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
Let's do this. We're trying to get this introduction in pretty quick because they do have live music and he will start back up very, very soon. It's fantastically themed in here. There are 4 dining rooms themed to different elements. Oh, and there we go. We're just gonna have to talk a little bit louder, which is interesting. Yeah, the live music is great. He's very, very good. It just is a little bit louder in here, and there's hardly anyone in the restaurant yet. So I can imagine it get pretty loud.
There's 4 temples. There's like a whole story behind the restaurant, which I think is really cool and adds to that theming element. I got the margarita flight. I asked if I could trade out the dragones for the coconut one because I really wanted to try that. So they did. So I'm very excited about that.
I got the old-fashioned. Lots of ice going on in here, so...
It actually looks crushed.
Yeah, super weird. So, let's see. A little bit of kick in there, a little bit of spice.
Oh, yeah.
It's actually balanced really well with the sweetness to it, and that the bourbon in there is, I guess, their house made bourbon, the iron bourbon, whatever it is. It's actually really well done. Just needs 1 large ice cube.
It literally would be perfect, I think, if it had 1 large. I mean, it's got some spice. It's
very good flavor. I'm just gonna have to kind of drink it fast because it's gonna melt and water it down pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So this might actually make my top 5 if it had 1 large ice cube.
Yep. And then we got the appetizer with the 3 salsas. It's the trio of salsas. So there's like an avocado verde, a chipotle, and then just like a regular salsa. And then we added on the guacamole. He said this was his favorite. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but Dan makes a fantastic guacamole, so it's really hard for any place to beat his out, so we'll let you know. It's good. It is not salty or spicy enough.
Needs a little more seasoning and a little more spice. I'm with you on that.
That's good. He kind of had me a little worried. I was going to get just this one on its own, but he had me a little worried because he really emphasized how spicy it was. I don't think it's that spicy. It definitely has a little bit of a kick.
Definitely a sour note in there. Good flavor, but I prefer the strawberry basil actually.
Yep. Definitely has a nice, light, sweet
That's really
finish.
good.
Yeah.
It's really, really good.
Yeah.
I prefer the chipotle and the avocado.
I like all 3 of them. I'm actually kind of surprised that the guacamole is the lower part of the list for me.
Food has arrived.
It looks tasty.
It does look good. I got these steak quesadillas, which don't look like quesadillas. They look like little mini street tacos.
But they're so cute.
This is one of 4 quesadillas. My mouth is still on fire from the chipotle salsa, so there's definitely some cilantro in there.
So I got the chicken enchiladas. It's got the shredded chicken tinga. It comes with the plantains on the side.
It looks great.
Really good.
It looks really good.
Yeah, my enchiladas are incredible. They have great flavor. I didn't get any of the crispy onion on top on the first bite, but I bet that's going to add to it like perfectly.
Man, yeah, there's a salsa verde on there with a melted cheese and sour cream, and it's just super creamy and good and hot and just flavorful. My my beef quesadilla and my steak quesadillas are pretty simple actually. I definitely prefer the enchiladas. There's much more flavor in there. You just need a lot of toppings to make these quesadillas taste like anything. It's really just a fried tortilla with steak and cheese.
That's true.
Okay, they're going to stop it there while the guitar player is on a break. We are going to wrap this up. It was pretty good.
Yeah, it was pretty good. So I would say Dan's quesadillas were a little plain, but they gave you lots of like toppings and stuff, so you could actually, spice it up the way you wanted. My enchiladas were out of this world. I mean, I stopped myself from finishing them so that I could actually take stuff home to the kids because we kind of promised that we would. So.
Oops.
But so I've just been eating the chips instead.
So we will finish this up at home. All right, we are back.
Before we get into our dining review, if you are looking to plan your next magical vacation, we would love to help you out over at Fantastical Vacations. We plan Disney destinations, Universal, cruise lines, and all-inclusive resorts.
This is the second time we've recorded this because the stinking boom mic was not being picked up by the mixers.
The last one you would have just gotten.
Let's see if we can remember everything we said. All right, this was actually pretty good. I will say it is not nearly as good as our favorite Mexican food restaurant just like 2 miles from here, which is off property. So it's not going to hold its own against whatever your favorite Mexican food restaurant is in your hometown. It's just not. But being on Disney property, you can expect that it is better than mediocre Mexican food, and they've got good margaritas, and it's overpriced.
Yes, I will say I would probably go back for the margaritas and the chips and salsa because those were really, really good.
I would go back if I was staying at Coronado.
So let's just jump right in. So the ambiance and theming of this restaurant, I was actually kind of impressed. Like for it being in Coronado, which is a conference like hotel, there was thought put into the story behind this, and we were told the story behind this restaurant.
Well, the story is on the menu, and the gentleman that set us was telling us the stories we're walking in. So there's 4 different kind of dining room areas, and they're themed to sun, moon, fire, and water. Yeah, the temples, dining rooms. The ambiance, so limited soft goods, concrete floor, plaster or gypsum walls, and they are, I don't know if they do this every night, but there is a guitarist. He's wonderful. He's very good.
I mean, it's Monday, so I would assume it's every night.
Good point. But he was playing for like 45 minutes of the hour that we were there, and it was just loud. It was good music, but it was just
good.
loud.
Yeah, it was good. It was just, if you're going with, like, Dan and I didn't have any problems because there was just 2 of us talking.
We'll see what the audio's like.
Well, but I mean, like, sitting at the table enjoying each other, right? But if we were with a larger group of people and I was trying to hear, like, down the table, it would have been very challenging.
Well, we were also on the perimeter of the restaurant, and he's in the center of the restaurant, so I don't know if you get closer to him, how anyway, I think that's good and bad, right? It was a good background music, but it was louder than background music. So all that to say, we gave ambiance and theming a 4.
Service. We, everybody at the restaurant is kind of lumped into service, and the first gentleman that sat us, he was telling us about the temples and the story, and was just lovely. And then our waiter came, and he was also wonderful, lovely, on top of things, gave us great recommendations. So we gave service a 4 as well.
Let's talk about drinks. I've got mixed feelings about the drinks. The margarita flight was very good. Some different margaritas, like a spicy strawberry basil margarita is pretty good. My old fashioned, the flavor of the actual old fashioned itself was wonderful. It would at least get an honorable mention in my top 5 list, if not make the top 5 list. But number 1, it's overpriced at $22. Number 2, they ruined it with that crushed ice. It wasn't even cubed ice.
Yeah.
It was crushed ice. So like literally the last few sips, I had to chew ice because the tiny little ice cubes, you couldn't just get the old-fashioned liquid without getting ice chunks, which is not something you want in a whiskey drink where you're trying to enjoy just the bourbon itself.
Yeah.
So mine was definitely not up to par, even though the flavor was good. How do you feel?
Yeah, so my margarita flight, I thought originally was probably overpriced at $35. There were 3 margaritas. I got the spicy strawberry basil, coconut, and the prickly pear. I actually substituted one of the ones that is on the flight for the coconut because I really wanted to try that. And I thought, this is kind of expensive. And then the lady next to me at another table, she ordered just a margarita, which is priced at $17, and it came in the same glass that Dan's Old Fashioned came in. And I thought, maybe I'm actually getting a pretty decent deal. So,
I mean, yeah, it was bigger, but maybe just like 2, maybe 4 ounces. Like yours was a different shape.
Yeah.
So I definitely think the flight was a better value, but I think all of them were overpriced. That $17 margarita is probably more of a $12 margarita is what it should have been.
The flight should have probably been closer to $25, $30 probably.
So really good flavors, not executed super well, and overpriced. We landed at 3.5.
Yeah. All right, finally, food. My enchiladas were superb. superb.
They were very, very
They
good.
probably were some of the best enchiladas I've ever had.
And the plantains that came with them?
Oh my gosh, the plantains. Oh my goodness.
They were very good.
They were so good. I didn't bring any of those home for the kids because I ate them all. They were delicious. So, yeah. But then come to your dish.
Well, so my quesadillas, I don't know the true definition of a quesadilla, but any quesadilla I've ever gotten has been big tortillas,
Yeah.
2 of them, one on top of each other, toppings inside, grilled both sides, cheese melted, and then cut, right? These were like street tacos. They were little tiny
Yeah.
tortillas like this, folded in half.
They were kind of grilled on both sides.
They were definitely grilled on both sides, but it wasn't like a big thing sliced up. Anyway,
Yeah.
And then inside they were very, very plain. 2 pieces of steak and cheese. That was it. The steak was not super tender. It was good flavor, but like when you bit into it, your teeth couldn't tear it. Like you pull away and the steak came with it. So it took 3 to 4 bites to eat one of these tacos is what it was.
Yeah.
And the second bite was just cheese because the first bite, like the steak came with it. Anyway. So they were just average. Good flavor, but again, not well executed. It's just average. Yours was 30,
Yeah.
mine was 28, which I thought was probably a little overpriced for those 4 little tacos.
Yeah. And then as an appetizer, we got the trio of salsas, which was fantastic, actually. And then we added on the guacamole. I don't think I would add on the guacamole again. That guacamole wasn't just like outstanding.
That was the one thing that the waiter kind of let us down on. He raved about the guacamole, and it wasn't.
The salsas were so much better.
Yeah.
They had way more flavor.
The guacamole was just bland.
Yeah, it was. It needed more salt and more spice and citrus. It needed a little bit of everything that had flavor. So, anyway, I'm spoiled by this guy's guacamole though. So I'm a pretty hard critic whenever it comes to that.
So I feel like quesadillas were straight up average. The salsa was slightly above.
A little above, and then
Yours
mine
were
was
really
like,
good.
whew, really good. So we landed at a 3.5 for food as well.
So all that added together, this restaurant gets a 3.75 out of 5, which I think is pretty much right on. If I was going to be staying at Coronado Springs for longer than a couple of days, I would definitely make a reservation here. It is good.
Yes.
If I was only staying for like a night or 2, I'd be going to Toledo or Three Bridges, hands down. Both of those we would make special trips to Coronado for,
Yes.
not this restaurant. But if you're here for a conference and you can get a reservation, it's not horrible. It's definitely above average.
Yeah, it's definitely good. Yeah, definitely. If you are liking these videos, please hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss the next one.
And we will see you on the next video.